So I will need my second speaker. Oh, fine. Okay, she's here. Our next speaker is a pharmacist. Her name is Lovelyn Amazu-Obi. Lovelyn Amazu-Obi is a consultant, geriatric and clinical research pharmacist. She's an author. She's a highly committed clinical pharmacist, over 15 years of experience in hospital and community practice. This innovative pharmacist has put a continuous hard work in her career development towards the use of nutrition and drugs in disease control and treatment. She published a recent research on the use of garden egg leaf as a nutritional backup in type 2 diabetes management in geriatric, on metformin immunotherapy, and that was an outstanding one. That took her out of this country to make a presentation in the United States. She has acquired over 7 years experience in HIV/AIDS care and management. She's trained by the Institute of Human Biology, Nigeria, and USAID. And I get geriatrics. Please pardon me, I'm not a pharmacist.
It's okay.
Yeah, okay. And she was trained by the International Institute on Aging, United Nations. She's also a substance drug use disorder and addiction trained professional by the United Nations Office of Drug and Crime. She is a people-oriented leader that loves to touch lives of the downtrodden and finds joy in giving hope to the less privileged. She's happily married with a husband and has children. She takes very active time in family coaching. She has been doing this and we've been enjoying it. I can tell you because I'm a partaker of it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome pharmacist Lovelyn Amazu-Obi, where here she will talk to us about healing the bleeding word in her own words. Welcome, pharmacist
Thank
Lovelyn.
you, Lion Uche. Am I correct? That's the right
You're
way
correct.
to address you.
Yes, I have introduced myself earlier. This is Louis.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Thank you,
Lion
Lion.
Louis, the secretary to Abuja Mega Lions Club. All right.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on the part of the country you are tuning in from. I'm still standing on the existing protocol, and I just want to say I'm super excited to be in your midst and to be part of, I'm not a legitimate member of Lion Club, or maybe potential, right? Okay, but I hope after now, we might just still consider that. So I thank you, Lion Club, for having me. I do hope with the few time we will spend here, we'll be able to pick one or two things that would help us all as individual, as an organization, and as a family. I want to thank Joriel King for the section that was just concluded, as though you saw my notes. So that was awesome. Thank you. So I will just mention a few things and then quickly tell us every other thing we need to know. So if you can hear me, please get to the chat box and type hello. If you can hear me loud and clear, please get to the chat box and type hello. Thank you. So if you're ready for a section, still get to this chat box. Thank you. If you are ready for this section and you are willing to get a lot and you're excited to be here, get to this chat box, type I am. Not seeing anyone typing I am. Are we ready? Good job. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. So our section might be a little bit interactive, So I want us to Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you. So it will be a little bit interactive because I might ask my own questions to you too, to be sure we got something out, okay? Now, our topic tonight will be, I'm from Nigeria, so here it's already 5:34 p.m. So you pardon me, I'll be using this evening. So our topic this evening will be healing the bleeding world with focus on mental health solutions. Okay, thank you, Dr. Ozi. Healing the bleeding world, healing the bleeding world. We all know that the world is bleeding. Families are bleeding, people are bleeding. And now this bleeding, it's not just about blood, it's about people going through a whole lot of downtime, pains, traumas, grief, so many bad experiences, wars and all of that, people becoming victims and vulnerable to a whole lot of situations, suicidal tendencies and all of that. How do we come in to be a solution or to be that shoulder for people to lean on? That's a question. We can all believe that this world, this 21st century somehow seems a little bit cold. You know, a lot of things seem so cold that you'll be asking, where is empathy? You will see, you know, this social media thing, you see people going through some pain, somebody being killed or something, you see someone recording the video. Come on, instead of rendering helping hand, you see someone recording the whole video. Then you ask yourself, where is basic humanity? Okay, so just a few things to add to what you've heard about your emotions. But what is even this mental health? It refers to a person's condition. I have to break these things down to a layman's term so that we can understand it. So it refers to a person's condition with regards to psychological and emotional well-being. These two things, the psychology and the emotional well-being. So that is to say, for the psychology, it trickles to your mind and your thoughts. And then for your emotions, personally, I defined your emotions, adding to what Jeriel had said. My personal definition of emotion is this. I tagged it, they are haywired and irrational entity. Haywired, up and down, up and down, up and down, not uncoordinated, and irrational entity that needs to constantly and consistently be subjected under the owner's control. Do we get that definition? It's haywired, it's irrational. It's an entity that needs to constantly and consistently be subjected under the owner's control, which simply means you never allow your emotions to lead you at any point. Never allow your emotions to lead you at any point. Women are more vulnerable to things like this because we are more emotionally driven, okay? God wired us that way. But however, every human being have emotions. So never allow your emotions to lead you, okay? Then I will simply say emotions are usually directionless. So it needs you to give it direction. So the moment you allow your emotions to be the entity making you take decisions, you will never, ever make a right decision. So anytime you make decisions based on your emotions, you would always end up making an irrational decision. So if you didn't get anything tonight, get these things about your emotions. So which simply means that at every given time T, you need to let yourself understand that you are in control of your emotions and never allow your emotions to control you. Talk more of allowing your emotions to influence your decision. It will make a mess of you anytime you do that. Now, always draw your emotions back to move at your pace, because if you leave your emotions, it will move so speedily, move so haywirely. And that simply means, let me just create a scenario. Just imagine your emotions being a human in front of you, and then you as the entity, you are yourself, and then you see the emotion go right, you go right. The emotion goes left, you go left. The emotion enters fire, you enter fire. The emotion jumps into the ditch, you jump into the ditch. The emotion jumps into the lagoon, you jump into the lagoon. You see, that is emotion. Emotions are directionless, and emotions can make people do a whole lot of rubbish that they would regret. So, which simply means that once your emotion wants to take left, draw it back. Tell your emotions, you're in control. You lead, and your emotions have to be controlled by you. So never allow your emotions to be faster than you. I think that's what I have to say about the emotions. So there are different wide ranges of conditions that could affect your psychology and your emotions. Okay? And this is where mental health problems comes in. When you have a lot of conditions that affect your psychology and your emotions. And these things could be anger. I'm now mentioning emotional health problems. There are a lot of mental health problems, but I will just mention these ones and then talk about them. Then we talk about the solutions. Anger, anxiety and panic attacks, okay? Bipolar disorder. You see, things happening around us are all revolving around a lot of things associated with what I'm talking about this evening. You have borderline, what we call borderline personality disorder. Borderline personality disorder. I will explain. We have what we call BDD, body dysmorphic disorder. These things are issues, and you see them so common in this time and age. That was why I picked some of these ones. Then you have depression. You have what we call dissociation and dissociative disorder, and then eating problems. A lot of things affecting our mental health, okay? So let's look at anger. Joriel had said something. Anger, it could actually be positive when you are able to take hold of it, react in the right way, okay? So anger is a normal thing. It is healthy emotion. We feel angry at times, okay? Anger isn't necessarily a bad emotion. It only becomes a problem when you express it wrongly, okay? When it becomes destructive and unhelpful, then that is when anger becomes a problem. And then when you allow that anger to block you out of every other emotions, that is when it becomes a what? A problem. So you have to learn to get rid of unhelpful, angry behaviors, such as, some people display anger in different ways. We have people that, the aggression is outward, and we have people that the aggression is inward. And okay, for instance, for the people that the aggression is outward, you see them shouting, swearing, slamming doors and all of that, hitting and throwing things. When you become violent out of anger, the way you are reacting, that makes that anger negative, okay? Some people go as far as, those ones that internalize, they go as far as hating themselves, isolating themselves. They cut themselves out of the world. You see, the problem is not who caused that, because the things that are not in your power to change, you cannot change them. But the way you react to things is in your power to change. So you need that ability to know how to change what to change, okay? Now, some are quite passive. They might become sulky, they might become sarcastic, either way, and they might refuse to speak to people. However, you see this anger, it can be channeled positively. Personally, anger is a tool of motivation for me. Some of the successes, unquote, And some of the times I had moved out from my comfort zone was as a result of anger. Anger most times, to me, motivates me. You have somebody maybe tell you, I remember some years ago when somebody said, Lovelyn, you know, you're quite on a big size. I don't see you can never lose weight. That thing got me so angry. That word got me so angry. That was some 10, 15 years ago when I was still doing my internship. So the person said, Lovelyn, you've always been on the big side. We know you. You've always been chubby. You can never lose weight. For the fact the person said, you can never lose weight, I sat down and I asked myself, this weight loss, did they keep it for special people? I need to shock these people. So that thing drove me out of my comfort zone. And I made up my mind I was going to lose 10 kg. I don't know how much in pounds. You times it by, I think, 150 or so, or 1.5. I lost 10 kg in 6 months. So the same people that said, Lovelyn, you cannot lose weight, I knew you, they were shocked. Even me, I shocked myself. Okay? So I'm just telling you some of these stories to know that anger could be a positive thing if you channel it as a motivation. Let anger be a motivation to do more. Your husband insults you. Wake up, dust yourself, go get to do something better with your life. By so doing, that anger has become a motivation to you. So always look out for positive things around things and don't sulk up based on what people have said. Okay? So it's okay to be angry, but it is more intelligent never to allow that anger control you negatively. So reason we all need to take emotional intelligence classes. Yeah, somebody said anger also is a good trigger for prayer. Very well. You know, I was told this is not a faith-based talk. So I would have said a lot of stories as it affected me on that area. But I want to narrow myself, and I'm drawing myself to be quite conscious of my audience. Okay, but you're very correct, sir. That's awesome. So I want to encourage us today to make a decision to deliberately channel your anger positively. Let it be a motivation to do better, to become more. Most times, God even allows that thing. You've driven me to another place. Most times, God would allow these things to come around you so that you can become who He has called you to be. If not, you remain in that your comfort zone comfortably. He could get somebody to insult you one day, and that insult will lead you to, this person, I must prove a point. And there you go. Okay, now you have anxiety and panic attack. Anxiety and panic attack, the difference between anxiety and panic attack, anxiety is what we feel when we are worried, tense, or afraid. Sometimes you see yourself developing cold hands and feet, but panic attack is kind of exaggerated response to fear. You might see your heart pounding and you feel like fainting and all of that. Then we have other mental illnesses like bipolar. Bipolar is very common now, very, very common. And I want to tell you that bipolar is not madness. But because of the stigma attached to it, a lot of people are so ignorant about it that instead of rendering a helping hand to people, you see them condemning those people. Anybody can be bipolar. What is bi? Two. Polar means completely opposite. So you see the person happy this time, the next time sad, the next time, you have somebody with huge energy. It's actually a mental health problem. Sometimes you see them talking irrationally, and sometimes you see the person a little bit depressed, hopeless, no pleasure, not having pleasure to things of this life and all of that. People are going through a whole lot. So the little we can do is to be nice to people. Don't stigmatize. Stigma had made a lot of people end their lives, not because the situation that came to them was designed to end them. It was all about how people would see the person, what people would say. And so those people, instead of facing life with courage, they decide to end it. because of what people will say, the stigma. I want to tell you that what people would say, it's not an issue. What you do with yourself is the problem. You are in control of your life. There is more to you. There is more to life. So that is why you don't care about what people will say. They are all distractions that have come to distract you from the pathway you're supposed to move. See, a living dog is better than a dead lion. So once there is life, there is hope. Then this one called BDD, body dysmorphic disorder. Now for women's side, that one did very well. Permit me, I should have to mix it up with broken English, okay? Now, for the women's side, okay, what is this BDD? What is this BDD? It's an anxiety disorder related to body image. Now, you see people doing breast enlargement, butt enlargement, waist thinness, all of those things. To some point, is a disorder. I'm not criticizing that, okay? Don't get me wrong. But there is something called body dysmorphic disorder. It's an anxiety disorder relating to body image, okay? Characterized by obsessive worries about how you are or how you perceive your flaws in your physical appearance. Now it's so crazy. It's so crazy, okay? People go under as long as, you know, going through what you call under the knife, cosmetic surgeries and all of that. Yeah, BDD drives people to go and do cosmetic surgery. Okay, so when you begin to have poor image, body image of yourself, that is what begins to happen. And it varies in severity from one person to another. So when you see people going for cosmetic surgeries, don't criticize them. You should pity them. Well, it's like I said, I'm not criticizing. And like I said, life is a choice, okay? But I'm coming from the medical aspect of it, which says that there is this thing called body dysmorphic disorder. When you always perceive and, you know, you're always bothered about your look, about your size, about the way, let me tell you something. Anybody that is bigger than you is too big. Anybody that is smaller than you is too small. Anybody slimmer than you is too slim. You have to accept yourself the way God has made you. Now, there is something I want to say. I'd had so many experiences where people lost their lives. I'd lost a cousin that went to do cosmetic surgery, and it kept bothering me because this lady, so pretty. So I was still wondering why. Okay, that's another picture. I lost a colleague. During my internship days, the husband told her that she was too slim. Imagine, some of us that are big-sized, on the big size, we're trying to get to be slim, right? Now, the husband of this nurse told her that she was too slim and she had to start taking one particular drug like that, dexamethasone. That's, you know, the side effect of the drug is to make you, it's to add weight, right? It's for weight gain. But then it suppresses your immune system. Now, what happened to her? She did it over years. And by the time we even realized what killed her, it was already late because she was rushed to the hospital and it was toxicity that killed her at the end of the day. I had somebody again and all these things. So BDD had been existing a long time, but it's just advanced now. It's made more elaborate now because of the internet. A lot of people are going through it. And so they don't like the way they look and they want to just get to transform themselves. It's okay. But just know that there is something called what? BDD, which is an anxiety disorder about how you look. Okay? This other lady, too slim, she came to me, she was complaining to me that please, what's she gonna do? She needs to add weight, that the boyfriend says she's so slim, I had to sit her down and I talked with her. I said, it's not about what your boyfriend thinks. Your boyfriend thinks you're so slim. That means you're not made for him. That the person that will love you for who you are will love you the way God created you. So just embrace yourself for yourself, by yourself, for who you are. Anybody, I said, this your same body that you want to gain weight. When you start giving birth, you put up more weight. And eventually you might even want to lose that weight. So life is beautiful and is worth living. Just, I was telling somebody something the other day. I said, the way God created you is in line with your destiny, is in line with your purpose, is in line with what he has called you to do. You see people that look so lanky, they look so lanky. Guess what? Towards the older, when they are getting older, you see them still looking younger. They don't even look like what they've gone through. So accept yourself for who you are. That's just the simple thing I'm saying this evening. Accept yourself for who you are. Don't allow people's definitions to define you, okay? Now, there is another one called, so that you keep off all these disorders, all right? Because it's a mental health problem. Remember, that's what we're discussing. You have another one called borderline personality disorder, okay? We have so many personalities, sometimes you feel so worried about people leaving you, finding it hard to make up, to keep stable relationships. You are diagnosed of personality disorder if you have difficulties with how you think and feel about yourself and other people. So all these things still narrows down. Accept yourself for who you are. Validate yourself by yourself. Don't let people validate you. You don't need people's validation to be who God has called you to be. Okay? When you validate yourself, today everybody is celebrating Hilda, right? But a lot of companies rejected her offer to sponsor her. Now some managers will be sacked, right? Because she validated herself and went for it, and God helped her. So that is it. You see, part of this borderline personality disorder is what makes women go after their husband's side chicks. And then they end up being killed, or they end up destroying their lives. I usually would tell, last week, was it on Thursday? There was an emergency in the hospital. What was this emergency? The wife followed up the husband's side chick. The wife came to where the husband was working and saw the side chick, and the two of them were about to go out, and the wife blocked them from going out. The man reversed, hit the wife down, and by himself brought the wife to emergency. He was angry that the wife was, following him up. He had to hit the wife down, and then by himself brought the wife to emergency. I was the one on call that day. So I was not so happy about the whole thing. So I got talking to a woman. I said, it's high time women begin to appreciate themselves for who they are. If you're a liability, people will treat you as one. Become more. Let that kind of thing be something that will motivate you to become a better person. Let it motivate you to become a better person. Let it put you in perspective and, go and develop yourself, go and grow, go and become better, go and have a better look. Do you understand? And you become an asset to your generation. What will happen is that nobody will take you for granted. Trust me, everybody wants to identify with a success. So that is it. So these things, we need to be very careful how we pass the lines for our mental health. So whatever you may be going through in your relationships, in the family, a lot of things, you need to find a better way to handle them for your own mental health. Just know that you come first. Your health comes first. Your emotional health comes first. So you are the only one that can take care of yourself by yourself. Nobody else will do that for you. Okay? Now, the question is, everyone is affected directly or indirectly. Depression and all of that, I've mentioned them. Okay? Everyone is affected directly or indirectly. So the question is, how can I bring healing to the bleeding world? With all these things happening around, what role do I stand to play? What role do I stand to play to get healing to the bleeding world? Number one, you must be willing to offer help. Even addiction is part of the mental health, but addiction is a whole lot of class. I don't even want to talk about addiction. Okay? Be willing to lend and offer a helping hand, always. Think of yourself as providing potential life-saving first aid first. Even if you find it too difficult or scary to intervene in people's matters, personally ask someone to step in that is still, I personally ask someone to step in, okay? You could ask a professional to step in, that is still part of helping, but just make sure you render help. Render help, render help. When you help people, God will help you too. God will send people that will help you the more, okay? And help your generation. So help begets help. Now, learn to initiate conversations with people. A lot of people are so not in a good state. So most times you see people, I'm always in that, habit of, I see you, hi, how are you doing? You look beautiful. Your face doesn't look so nice this morning. What's happening? Are you okay? Now, if I know you so well and you tell me, when I ask you, how are you? And you tell me, fine. Okay. Oh, okay. So I have a warning already. So let me just finish. I won't finish my notes. So let me just stop at some point. How much time do I have left, please? Can you chat me up?
Yeah, you've exceeded your time actually, but I felt really? That you were already answering questions that people might have in their minds. And that's why I let you continue a little bit.
Okay.
But you can just wrap up within 2 minutes so that we can give opportunity to people to ask their questions. Thank you.
Okay. So learn to initiate conversations with people, be receptive, and be a person people can talk to, be kind, and help to create a better world. You must learn to show empathy. Sympathy is different from empathy. Empathy is wearing the person's shoes and understanding how they feel. Then urge people to, urge the person to stay with treatments and remind them to take their prescriptions and help people keep their appointments. So how do I protect myself? Because prevention is the best mental health therapy. Don't even allow it to happen to you. Learn from other people's experience. Don't allow it to get to you, okay? So you must be physically active. Make sure you are physically active. Eat healthy food. Be responsible for you. Give to others. Learn to give. Don't be at the verge of always receiving. Be curious and open-minded to new experiences. Try new things. Plan things to look forward to, such as fun activities, okay? Learn new skills. Then this one I want to talk about is supportive families. A lot of issues going on in the family. They are the things that drive children to addictions and all of that, okay? So build secure and healthy parent-child attachments with your children. And then you have to what we call parental supervision, monitoring, and effective discipline of your children. So finally, I would simply say, take life one day at a time, one step at a time. I need you, you need me. We need us to heal this bleeding world by just an act of kindness. Be kind to people. Be kind to people. The least thing you can do is to be kind to people with your words. With your words. Thank you very much.
Wow, this is super amazing. In fact, if we should break this down, I'm sure it's going to take series and series of sections. It's super amazing. And I can see Mustafa Lawal is saying, thank you. Ebon Grace is saying this is okay. And a lot more people have been commending this even while we're going on. I see some posts already supporting what you have said. Dr. Leo is saying, thank you. Stella is saying, thank you. This is really amazing. And so I believe this has been very rewarding so far. And I could see that Evelyn Bassi says this is really thought-provoking. I could see it's a huge, it was very much in line. We saw the emotional intelligence as a foundation laid by Jeriel King very substantially. And we saw everything knitting up, I guess we all agree with what I'm saying. And so I'll quickly give time for questions. Joria King is here. Pharmacist Lovelyn is here to answer your questions. I believe she's already answered a lot of questions. And that was why I was allowing her to speak for longer, because I thought that some of the questions our audience participants might have were being answered already. I'm leaving the floor open for questions, please. If you have a question on emotional intelligence, on solutions to, how to heal the bleeding wound in your own terms, how you're bleeding. Could be in your family, your relationship, at your workplace. Okay. Barrister BC is saying thank you to both speakers, very impactful. So if you have questions, please let's know what your questions are so that we can address them as quickly as possible. Questions? Highlight a bit on how to deal with mood swings coming from Dr. Liu. Let me throw this question to, okay, mood swings. Joria you talked about emotional intelligence, Joria King. Can you give us a little enlightenment on mood swings? Some people say ladies have those mood swings more than the men, the guys. Can you tell us more about mood swings? What can you say about it?
Yeah,
from the emotional intelligence
sure. So when we think about our moods, right, in terms of emotions, and we understand that emotions are fickle, right? We've heard that today, that emotions are meant to change because the way that your body is designed is to protect you. And so if there's a sense of protection that needs to happen, then your mood may shift. Sometimes you may not even notice what happened to make your body respond to a certain maybe statement or a thought and cause you to behave a certain way. So when we understand that moods are temporary, emotions are temporary, then mood swings don't seem to feel that uncommon, right? But what I would say to mood swings is that some people begin to have mood swings and begin to feel like, is this a mental health thing that I'm experiencing, right? To Dr. Lovelyn's point earlier when she was saying that there's things like bipolar disorder, right? These are things to be mindful of. But if you notice that their mood swings are happening based on certain circumstances, based on, your thoughts, certain behaviors, certain internal feelings, then you can regulate those. But when we get into the mental health aspect of things, and you're not able to deconstruct that emotion, be able to figure out what triggered that response, then you may want to begin to seek some form of mental health. And like we were saying, it's nothing to be stigmatized. This is all to make sure that each of us are able to play our healthy part in society. So I have also dealt with mood swings before. And then when I look up and I realize why, when I take some time to realize why I felt the way I felt, I realized, oh, okay, it was because I had that thought and I let it go too far. Or it was because I allowed, myself to feel one way and I didn't take control of the emotion. I allowed myself to get deeper into it. And so it does make a difference how we respond to our mood changes.
I think that's fantastic. Check your triggers, know that they're temporary. Don't allow when you know these things, you should put them under control, right? And if you can't, don't rule out seeing an expert. Very important. Egun Grace raised up her hand. Egun Grace.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good. Well, afternoon from where I'm joining from. I'm joining from Canada.
Okay.
It's afternoon right now. I want to add to what she just said, because I get to understand mood swing from my teen adults. Most of the time when they are under their menstruation, when you talk to them, it triggers them. They're a little bit angry, they're a little bit, you will see them, they're always on bed. You will see them so angry. Maybe you touch them to joke with them, they will turn their face so furious against you, which they weren't like that. But as they started menstruating, those mood swing, I started noticing so many of them in them. So I think our body, when there changes, the mood comes in. And the men might not notice that this is what is going on with a particular child or a particular person at that particular time. Because I don't have mood swing when I was growing up. But in my teenagers or my teen adults, I notice it a lot. Their mood swing when they are in it. So I believe maybe as time goes on, most of us or most men should understand that this generation, I don't understand. Their life, when they are under their menstruation, it will be as if the whole world is about to end. So I think I'm just trying to contribute to what she had just said. Thank you.
That was fantastic, Grace. Thank you very much. I think she was trying to explain why some people say the ladies do have this mood swing more often. Maybe physiological changes. I will let Pharmacist Obi react to that from the medical point of view. I think that might help some of our audience. Thank you, Pharmacist.
Okay. Everything we've said is just in line, but on mood swing, men swing moods, women swing moods. Men, sometimes when they don't have money, that's a critical mood swing. Okay, so for women, naturally, the hormones of our body contribute to that. But however, what I would always say about mood swing is you must learn to rise above your emotions. One, you must learn to rise above your emotions. You must be very careful not to transfer aggressions. Okay, all this thing boils down to you learning yourself and being willing to work on yourself, because mood swing, if you're someone that swings easily, people rarely would stay around you. People will be managing you. So you need to learn to take control of your mood. Identify when you are not in your best form. You must identify when you're not in your best form. You remember what I said? I said the moment you allow your emotions to give you directions, your decisions will always remain irrational. So what do? Identify when you are not in your best form. Take a deep breath and count up to 30 in your mind before you just act. By that time you're taking your time, taking a deep breath, you're kind of being in control of your emotions, you're telling yourself, calm down. Okay, you learn to talk to yourself, learn to do a self-talk. It will help you. Okay, talk loud to yourself. Lovelyn, just calm down. This is not worth it. Calm down. It's not worth it. Okay, when you talk to yourself, your subconscious gets it. So it's something you begin to do over time, rehearse over time, and you begin to take full control of your emotions. Walk away if need be. Walk away if need be. Then delay decisions. Anytime you're not in your right frame of mind, delay decisions. The best thing even to do at that point is to keep quiet. Don't even say anything. Maximum, go and lie down and sleep. Before you wake up, you'll be fine. And then you would actually make a well-defined decisions. So think of more positive and better ways to become better, not bitter. I think this will help you. Thank you.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. There's a saying, whatever you do twice gets easier. So practicing it, makes it easier for you to overcome and stay in control. Thank you very much. That was very professional. Thank you, Gerald King. That was very insightful. I have only about 7 or 6 minutes to round up this platform, this session. And I'm going to ask if there is any more questions.
Someone asked a question on the platform. What is the best way to curb a disorder caused by addiction, or someone who has stopped doing drugs and now suffering from the aftermath?
Okay, yes, this is about drugs. So the pharmacist, you can talk about it. Thanks.
This has to, I would have to ask further questions. Okay. Yes, there is something called withdrawal syndrome, right? When you stop, depending on how you stopped it, there is something called withdrawal syndrome, and some things that comes with withdrawal syndromes, there are things to still take care of it. So I would personally suggest maybe we could have a discussion after now, because it could be a little bit personal. So I may not want to begin to ask further questions here, because your statement is a bit open-ended. So we need to find out the aftermath you're talking about. What kind of withdrawal syndrome are you having? So if we find out the kind of withdrawal syndrome you're having, then, because it's unique to each person, so it's personalized, we'll now find out what kind of withdrawal syndrome are you having, and then the solution will be there. But one thing I want to tell you is to hang in there, you'll be fine. Okay?
Thank you, Ebun. Thank you,
Talk to Lewi.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Mustafa, were you trying to say something? Mustafa.
No, he's requesting for my contact, so I told him to talk to you.
Okay, definitely. We will have your contacts